Let me talk to you a little bit about some smart golf. Using your Texas wedge or your putter to putt chip the ball. Now you can see I've got some nice grass here between myself and the pin. It's up tight, and a lot of people would select that sand wedge and try to lob it, but boy, with a tight lie like that, you might scull it or hit behind the ball. So I recommend that you use a putter. Now you need to survey the grass, and you can see I've got a little bit of fringe there, but that's probably not going to mess up my ball as it rolls through. I'm playing the percentage. I want to roll that ball right up that slope to the hole. I'm going to use my one pendulum motion and always rehearse. I need to hit this ball just a little bit harder starting out to get it through the grass and roll it right up to the hole. Now watch this. Nothing to it. Remember, play smart golf. Use your Texas wedge and you're going to get it up there every time. When you're faced with a shot like this where you've got a little bank and the pin's in tight, and you've got to run that ball up the slope, don't ever land the ball into the slope. I see this very often with players. They'll take like a 9-iron and they'll throw it up into the slope, and then it'll usually bounce and skip and run real hard. Or it may check up. A lot of times, if the ball flies into the slope, it'll just die and not even get onto the green. So what I always try to do when I'm going up a slope is I always want to have the ball rolling before it gets to the slope. I don't want it bouncing into the grass on the slope. So I'm going to play my normal chip shot. The ball's back. I'm leaning. I'm feeling that sponge under my foot. I'm going with a one lever. And then I always pick my spot where I want the ball to land. I want it to land about here, and I'm taking a 5-iron. So I want the ball to land. I want it to be rolling before it gets to the slope so it can run up to the hole. So I'm going to lean to the left, Tower of Pisa, hands ahead, pick my spot, and then just chip it and let it run right up the slope, and there's a gimme. When you get a tight lie and you've got a lot of green to cover, don't try to use a real lofted club, because you've got to calculate how high to hit the ball, and you've got to be so good with this shot, and it may bounce off to the right like that. If you open the face, there's so many factors that are involved. So we want to hit a chip shot. We want to work with that one lever and really work on that pendulum stroke. Of course, we want to first of all check where we want the ball to land on the green, and then roll it back to the hole. And I've selected an 8-iron for this shot. And then as I set up, I'm going to feel that distance. And on the chip, remember, you want to stand nice and proud, lean to the left, feel that sponge under your foot, getting that weight over there. Rehearse. We want to make that nice crisp contact with the back of the ball. That's what we're going for. Feel the distance. One lever. I'm going to drop this on the green and then roll it back to the hole all the way back. Work with these shots. Get a good feeling for the distance and what club is going to just drop it onto the green and roll it back to the hole. Here's one more. Leaning left. Rehearse the one lever. Shoulders back, and well, that one's going to be close. Here we're faced with a ball that's nestled down in the first cut of the rough, but yet I've got a long shot up to the green. Now normally I would use a 5-iron for this shot, but because of the grass in there behind the ball, it's going to get caught coming in behind. So I want to use an 8-iron and turn it into a 5-iron. In other words, when I play this ball way back in my stance, I'm going to play it farther back than a normal chip. And it's going to turn this 8-iron into a 5-iron just because of the loft. So I want to set up on this one and take a rehearsal. I'm going with a one lever stroke. I'm nice and proud, and I want to feel like a weed whip. I've got a little weed whip. I'm going to clip the grass right in behind this ball. Now, a little of the grass is going to get between my club face and the ball, which is going to make it squirt. It's going to have a little overspin on it. So I've got to allow for that. I'm going to pick my spot up on the green, landing it on there 4 or 5 feet. Lean to the left, get up close, and keep the face nice and square, and take my little shot just like this. And you notice it got up on the green, and it's going to roll right on down to the hole. One thing you want to do with this shot is stay ahead of it with your body so you can make a crisp contact close to the back of the ball. And with this shot, you never want to try to scoop it because you'll get too much grass between the club face and the ball. Now when you don't have much green and the ball's nestled down in that first cut of grass, take your sand wedge out, You know you're going to get a little grass between the club face and the ball, so it's going to come out a little bit hot. It's going to roll a little bit. Open the face up, and you want to lean to the left. Relax your shoulders, and the shot you want to have is just to feel your arms pacing. Keep a light grip and let the club head just swing back. Keep your hands ahead. This is where you really want to feel that train. You want to feel the engine pulling the caboose. You don't want any acceleration at all. Just lay the club in behind the ball. See how I'm doing this? Just like that. Feel the shot. I don't have to swing real hard at this. Get up, lean to the left. Let the club do the work, just nice and easy. Let it drop on the green and roll right up to the cup. Now you see I didn't rush that at all, did I? I let my arms pace as I kept a nice light grip. The gravity pulled the club head down and just kind of dropped it in right behind the ball. Let the club do the work on this shot for you. When you're in the first cut of rough and the ball's sitting up like in real fluffy like this, you don't want to swing down at it hard or you'll go underneath it. So you've got to make adjustments. You want to choke down on the club, and you don't want to play it back as you don't want a lot of backspin. You want to feel like you're going to take a feeling more like a putt. So the club will glide through, keep the one pendulum moving through, and of course I'm on a little bit of a slope here, so I want to be sure I lean left into the slope and set my shoulders up a little bit more to the slope so the club will just glide along the top of the grass and just run into the ball. Feel it, and then just let it glide, and just drop the ball on the green and roll it right up to the cup. This one you really need to rehearse and feel that one lever motion back and through. Here's one widely used on the PGA Tour. So when the ball gets real tight and you don't have a lot of green to work with, well, you want to open the face just a little bit and get the heel of the club up off the ground. Choke down on the club and rehearse. What we're trying to do is take that one lever stroke. You want to get up real tall, sit back nice and proud, weights to the left. You don't want any body movement because this is a delicate little shot. Feel the pacing of the club back and through. We want that nice crisp contact. Now when you set up to the ball, you want to have that ball out towards the toe of the club, because you know what happens if you get down to your normal shot and you come in, the heel will have a tendency to catch that hard pan and then the face will flip closed. So right out on the toe, up nice and tall, rehearse, feel the distance. We want to drop it just on the fringe or just on the green and roll it to the hole. One lever, just back and through. What about if I really get a tight one? I mean right here on this sand. And we do the same thing with this one. It's tight. I'm going to open my stance. You can see that this allows the club to go straight back and straight through. I'm up real tall, my weight's to the left. I'm choking down on the club. Always rehearse. The heel's up. Now you don't want to try to scoop this in the air. I'll tell you, that is a common problem. Let the club do the work. Let your pendulum pace. Feel how hard you've got to play this shot. I'm going to drop it on the edge of the green. One pendulum motion on the edge, and look at that, right by the hole.